Yo, hello ladies and gentlemen. I'll be doing a VOD review of LLL, the Loud and the Fnatic game. I'll just go through the draft a bit and I'll just go through the gameplay to see just my opinion basically and how as well they can fix certain things. Because just knowing what they should be doing, I'll as well mention what their trigger points should be, like when and how they can recognize, how to not do it again. So let's go. Well, regarding draft, Pony, Yumi, Ben, Seraphine. I mean, I don't know exactly which team spirit is which champions, right? But however, Aatrox is one of the most solid blind pick champions that people like to pick, and it doesn't show too much of a team composition. It doesn't show if you go all in or like top lane is really flexible. They can still pick 4 champs that outrange, right? So Aatrox is a solid pick. Fnatic showing Kaylin Sejuani, which indicates that, Caitlyn overall is a solid pick. And if they pick it early Caitlyn, right, they either have to slam in their ball lane, and if they don't, then they can pick 3 the support and ban, and have a really good ball lane matchup guaranteed, and they as well won't be showing whether they're committing or if they're going to play for poke, right? Because they can always choose to play Caitlyn with Nazir, and if enemy is an all-in team comp, they can decide to just play front to back and play range, and left side has to play side lane because they will not be able to win team fights, right? So it really depends on what they're going to pick, how they can adjust according to their picks. So let's see. I'll just skip actually a bit. Okay, if teams showing Aatrox, Sylas, and Misfortune, usually that already means that they are gonna come into you. Like, even if they pick any jungle or any support, usually it's gonna be a full all-in team comp, right? So right side can really choose if they want to either match them on the solo laners, or they can go for a 4-on team comp and play for team fights. So I believe in draft I watched the game a bit. Think they opted for Kali, right? However, they could have as well chosen to pick either Morgana Lux of Caitlyn and then supports that might be difficult to play against, right? Like MF, like Nautilus. I mean, unless you go Morgana, right? Then if you go Morgana, then he might have to ban some range supports that might be a bit annoying. So I'm not exactly sure why they went down on support, but that's a possibility as well, right? However, Fnatic decided to lock in the Kali, which is actually good against Sylas, right? And good against Aatrox as well later on the side lane, and they're... I'm not sure about the enemy jungle champion, right? But if usually Akali is being shown, preferably you would like to have a champion that can spot him like Lee Sin or Lulu. However, if that's not in the game, then Akali becomes a really OP champion. So Fnatic for sure did the research, see what they play, and they might have picked Akali, but I think they could as well won when they see 2 of the champs, as long as their solo lanes have 3 champions, that they could pick the support there, but I'm not sure how much champions Humanoid or Runner has, right? So they might have to pick one of the solo laners. And it makes sense that instantly see both of their solo laners, so you might as well pick it. And Akali is really good here against both of their solo laners, so... And because as well they actually went Caitlyn, they are opting into support bans because they of course don't want them to have Lux Morgana, which is a good combo, right? And it basically denies Fnatic from winning ball lane really hard, because usually if you play Caitlyn, right, like preferably you want to have like either Karma, Lux, or Morgana to win lane phase really hard. But if you look at the team composition right now, right, I'll just finish the draft. Roni decided to pick in Braum because they see 5 champs that are like gonna commit, right? However, the Braum pick is not bad with or against enemy team composition. However, with Caitlyn it doesn't make as much sense. Caitlyn is just gonna be chilling, he's not really gonna bully lane as hard, right? And if you look at their team composition, right, like their solo lane is jungle plus support, they actually have really good scraps. They have like really good skirmishes. However, Caitlyn is pretty much going to be a dog this game, I would say. He's just going to be farming, staying mid lane, and Fnatic's job is just to play on side lane. Because if you look at both solo laners, Fiora and Akali, Fiora should be winning like later on against Aatrox once his items, and Akali after level 7 to 9, he will be able to win against Sylas as well. And with Braum as well coming on side lane, they will be having a good skirmish on the side lane, right? So they can play for that, which is playing side lane into collapsing, and not through mid lane preferably, because I do believe that Misfortune and Mumu Maokai will be stronger. if they're contesting, let's say, 3v3 mid, if they play for objectives. So Fnatic's goal should be pretty clear, which is try to get some items. I don't think that any teams will be able to do anything in the early game. If you look at the champions, like both Jonas are probably going to play to cover, and there's not that much kill threat in this game, right? After 6, there's a lot of kill threat because you have like Amumu ultimate Sejuani from both sides, and there will be a fist fight, right? Yeah, Fnatic should definitely be looking to play side lane, get items, and collapse from sides, and I think left side cannot really respond to that if you look at the draft, right? So I'll just skip a little bit. Okay. As for both Jonas, right? Depending on how volatile top lane is, but top lane usually is hard chilling, and there should not be any play that's possible. However, Browser is pathing to the bot side, but I don't think that pathing. It depends on how they want to play, right? Because if Caitlyn Braum wants to play really aggressive and try to get an advantage, he should be pathing bot side. However, I don't really think that Fiora. I don't really think that Caitlyn Braum can really achieve that much, you know? But if he passes out top to bot, his wall pathing in general in the game is going to be always top to bot, which is going to be beneficial for the Herald as well, because that way he can path towards bot side, free them up, clear the vision, and they will have the first move for the Herald. And if top lane is chilling 1v1 anyway, depending on how he's going to play, right, then this is the right pathing. However, if top lane is playing like this, and like let's say mid lane has push as well, right, you could even look to threaten and dive. Of course, Atrus could decide to play safe, right? But it depends what they want, right? They could decide to make top side, strong side, go full crazy, and I'm sure that Sejuani, if you're like looking for dives with big fat slow pushes, is definitely possible. So, but yeah, it seems like that he's just gonna be pathing down and play for the bot Krabby. So like imagine on this fat wave, right, that if a Sejuani is around here, then if good plays from Sejuani and Fiora, and if Maokai doesn't match, then the Atrus is gonna die here. However, if Maokai pass bot side, right, and he has Amumu, and it's like Braum, look at the support matchup, it's not that volatile, right? I'm sure that they'll be fine and they won't be able to get dove, because what's gonna happen as well, that when Sejuani goes to our top side and you kill enemy top, bot lane can always play safe a little bit and TP bot to recover if needed, right? And look, like bot lane's like never gonna be volatile. It just depends on how they want to play. Okay. Usually as well here, if you look at what's going on here, because I believe they see the Maokai on the ward, right? And the moment they see Maokai on the ward, I think it's pretty clear he's going for the Skull Crab, right? Because it's going to spawn 3 seconds. So usually in these cases, the support should start moving a little bit already. So the moment support starts moving a little bit, Maokai will not be able to fight Sejuani at all. Because if he does so, then Braum's moving first and he just has to run. Because if he doesn't run, he's going to get collapsed and he's going to be dying. And if you looked at the mid lane wave, I don't think I see it that great, but okay, so if you look at mid lane wave as well, right, it's basically pushing towards the Kali. So if Razork wants to fight in the river, he basically needs Braum to hover a little bit. He needs, preferably, if Akali can't move, right, to like fight the enemy Sylas. However, since the wave is pretty big, and if Sylas manages to push it really fast, it's not good for Akali to move, right? And actually use his Shroud as well, so it is going to be a bit difficult for him to like hold the wave, because I watched this game once and I look at the situation, right? But just pay attention to the Shroud. If Humanoid here could save his Shroud here and know that he's gonna fight and save it to like just fight the Sylas, it would be much better, because that way, if Sejuani goes through this fight, which he should be winning, because look at Maokai HP. He's very low. Sejuani just wins this because Sejuani is stronger than Maokai. And yeah, like I said, support should be hovering a little bit, and mid lane's job is to actually fight the Sylas. And the thing is that if you look at the waves, right, I'm pretty sure that if Humanoid side like chim the wave a little bit, don't use W, worst case, right, you could always hold the wave I mean, you can't really see it, but he could always hold the wave and tank the wave here a little bit and try to fight him, or pull the wave even. Because if he pulls the wave and there's a fight ongoing like right here, right, Sylas is gonna lose farm the longer he stays. However, Akali has a small window to stay around, but after the small window, which is probably like 10 to 15 seconds, he has to go back to mid wave and the play should be over. So if they know that they want to fight this, then melee should really be thinking about just cancel the enemy Sylas, knowing that the jungler is going to be winning. So if the jungler says, hey, I'm going to fight, I'm winning, basically their job as laners is just to make sure that if support can hold first, right, that would be the best. And as mid lane, if he's not really first, because the wave stay is not really the greatest, as you can see, he should just try to fight him. To like, just stall him. Because if he did that right, and let's say he's just fighting the Sylas here at this point, they should be winning here. Because look at Maokai. That guy basically managed to run up. However, that guy will not be able to run up because the Rozhok can actually chase him. But Rozhok as well is probably aware that Sylas moving first, and if he chases him, he's gonna collapse. So it's kind of an awkward position. And like, now they move first, and it's become a little bit awkward. However, I do think if it was a pure 3v3, right? And I think Upset misplayed as well here. Because if you look at it right, he queued, however he could just walk up and look to alt tag him. And if Akali was fighting the Sylas right, they could just keep running up. And you know, it's a Braum, that guy can just flash out worst case and that would be fine. That would be much better. And even this situation, right, Upset should have died IMO if Sylas landed his E here. He could have been aware that he just alt tag him one more time, then E this guy, and that guy would be dead, so it would have been no BNO. So all of this pretty much comes from earlier, which is that right here, the moment he's Maokai, to be aware that they're gonna fight for the crab, but it's a bit unlucky time, right? Because Akali uses Shroud. And if it's not possible, because let's say Akali says he can't move, then honestly, I think that after goes for this chunk here, right? Or like, they should really try to kill him if possible. If not, they should really get out. That should be their first role process. Right now it should be like, get out, just run away, flash away. However, if you can see the movement, they're still committing to the fight, knowing that the enemy's moving first. I'm pretty sure though that they could decide to run away. Or like at least start running right now, and I think he'll be okay. But Healy's pretty deep, he still has flash. I'm pretty sure that they could have gotten out. But they decided to commit and didn't have mid priority, so that is no BNO, so it had to be a fast play. So after that, Mr. Shijuani is going top to bot. There is a slow push here. Okay, he's gonna take his top side camps. I actually don't see the Maokai at this point, if he walks like this at least. Okay, I think that sees him, that minion. But there's nothing really gonna happen here. They're just not allowing Humanoid to basically push out a wave here. Because if you look at this, right, like Sylas has item advantage and Humanoid has TP back. So that's a scrap. So Humanoid TP'd back. Okay, Humanoid got level 6, so he'll just have to take a base. Okay, right here in this situation, after Fnatic fucked up as well the early game, right? They'll have to reevaluate how they want to play the game, which is probably true. I mean, like I said before the game, both the solo laners, right, are going to be winning on side lane. So if the solo lanes are winning, which they are, right, and they go a bit even, and they chill Roni, play after 6, they'll still be chilling. They'll be winning the game regardless. Because one of them will be always able to collapse from side lane, which will make the game really hard for the enemy bot. Once it goes into 1-3-1. So right now the Herald's up in 1 minute. Usually when the Herald's up in 1 minute, right, it's really important for the junglers to take their camps and have a good base timing to be ready to fight the Herald. or even free up a laner that, for example, bot lane, if they don't have the push, to move towards the top side. I mean, in this case, Rosor got cooked. I mean, that top push, they're mid-lane didn't show, so he flipped it a bit, right? To avoid it next time is to just know that if the Sylas not showing and your Fiora catching the wave, I'm sure I can always like start moving right now, right? And however, if Sylas not showing here on mid lane, then is it not possible? So in this situation, if he recognized that, then didn't go for the Krabby and he just took a stop side, right? And he would get level 6. He could easily go through mid lane, get mid priority, and free up a side laner. And around herald timing as always, what you want to do is just put a ward on the herald. If you put a ward on the herald, it will allow you to basically have more time to either you can push him out by ganking mid lane, and then when you push him out, enemy lane will be stuck, and you can collapse and push him out. So that's why ward and herald is good if usually your camps are up or. Oh, a second, let me see Scrapperoni. I mean, I don't think anything's gonna happen here. I think Rotokus is dead. But yeah, they didn't get to that point because he went for the Krabby with no top priority, and I mean, mid lane extra is priority, right? However, because mid lane here could stay here in the bush, right, and not show, and Akali could stand here as living ward here, and Fiora could follow, right? That way, Sejuani can actually get the top crab if they believe they're a strong 3v3, which I do believe they are. I do think they're strong 3v3, right? So if Akali stood in the bush here, Sejuani goes to the crab and matches Sylas. So if Sylas shows mid, he can go mid. If Sylas doesn't show, then Akali can just stay here, secure the crab, and worst case, give Sylas one wave, which is one turn, to move into bot, and he would get the crab. However, if Akali is not standing in the bush, and if yours not like moving right now, right, it's not possible. However, if Akali was here, like I said, in this bush here, moment Sylas shows, he can go back. If not, then it's free crab, right? So there must have been a miscommunication regarding the crab, because, or like, not necessarily miscommunication, but the moment Akali showed, it is no BNO. So they couldn't secure this crab. If Akali decided to just stand here and just match the Sylas. And Fiora follow as well after, if they think they win, which I think for sure they win, actually, if you look at it, right? So then he dies. Could have been prevented if they did basically what I suggest. But these are like small micro things that's actually really important. That has to be clear between the players. And like I said, in order to resolve this, is just, I think the jungler just kind of has to call like, hey, can you stay here? Or like the mid lane can know as well if they have more synergy together, which is that they're both aware that it's same goes for if you want to secure, let's say, blue buff, right? If, let's say, Sejuani is walking in here, you want your mid laner to like posture always and be first. Because if he's not first, your jungler can't fight. However, if he's first, then enemy jungler has to run even if he's winning. So it's really OP for junglers and mid laners to understand this concept. The same for this case, right? Like, imagine Maokai is losing, but enemy mid lane's first. Like, Sejuani has no choice but to run away. He can't keep hitting when he's getting fisted, you know? Okay, so basically right now, because as well the Sejuani died, and did they use any cooldowns? Nope. Actually, I guess they used Aatrox and Sylas ultimate. And if they have used both the Solin's ultimate and the enemy, sorry, I mean Fnatic didn't use any ultimate, they can actually fight the Herald. As long as Sejuani gets 6, and even if it doesn't, it should be okay. Because having ult advantage on both solo laners, and if you look at bowling waves as well, right? So basically Caitlyn just came from base, as you can see. So Caitlyn pushed the wave, or actually Caitlyn just based in the bush, they're bowling state, so it carries base advantage, right? Knowing that, Caitlyn can take this wave, which is actually the perfect wave to shift into Herald, which will secure the objective basically, right? So Caitlyn, if he can, because depending on the tempo state, right? He could take one more wave and then move into the Herald. And that would be really, really perfect, because that would mean as well that the enemy can't use this wave or build the next wave to dive bot lane. However, I think Upset doesn't have like a ward and tri-bush, so he doesn't feel as secure to take it. However, I really do think that Braum should have just stayed a little bit around, at least be a living ward, you know? At least like maybe base like right here, and then be in base the moment Caitlyn push out a wave. Because that would be really perfect. Because that would allow the result to instantly start a herald. Because now, right, if you're looking from LL perspective, they should be saying, hey guys, we don't have ultimates, Fiora even have slow push, Akali, they have ult at advanced, right? They should be saying, guys, we can't contest. So what they should be doing is just put a ward down, the moment they're on it, hard send on bot lane, and look to trade. Which is fine, because you can't really kill the enemy here, right? Blow your ultimates, and secure the herald. You can't get everything, you know? So it's sometimes okay to get a kill and look to trade, to stabilize, and then go from there. So right here, Fink starting his herald. Wait, how would the top lane get sword fisted? And mid lane's freezing the wave as well. I think Humanoid didn't base for a while actually. I mean, Humanoid as well, he decided to stay for one more wave after pushing. However, he could have decided to just base after pushing this. But he decided to stay for another wave, and this way it's really not contestable. However, if the Fiora... Yeah, did he fuck up his W or what? Because like Fiora lost shit tons of HP here. But yeah, like I said, I do think that Fnatic could secure the Herald if they basically Akali a little bit earlier, Caitlyn preferably take one more wave and then just shift into Herald. Sejuani could take red buff and instantly start it. And then they will be able to secure it because the Braum will be first and Caitlyn can be moving as well. But now the situation, because top lane got a bit cooked, mid lane through the latest base timing, it is not possible. However, I'm pretty sure that they could have fought when both the solo lanes did not have ultimate. And their bot lane had tempo as well, look. Braum was moving first. So that is kind of sad. Sejuani wouldn't have been 6 though, he would need one more camp, because as you can see after red buff, he's not 6 yet. Okay, so Loud gets the Herald here in this situation. And there was a Scrapperoni. Okay, so right now the enemy is Herald basically, right? And basically if the enemy is Herald and you're kind of behind, you have to then thought what the enemy wants to do, which is usually in general, right? Play mid bot. Top lane is kind of in an island, and they just want to control the bot side river here. And when they control the bot side river here, and every time there's mid or bot push, they can like move to mid, give him priority. Like if mid lane is priority 1v1, he can move to bot, and they can get deep vision. And Sejuani's job is sadly to just cover, because you don't want to give a full bot tower here. So if Sejuani goes top side, right, and they play one time mid in the bot, they will have to back off because it'll be a 4v2. So yeah, I mean Fnatic right now the situation is a little bit behind, right? So they'll just have to respond and play on opportunities. So like these small windows, right, where Misfortune is basing, they could look to... Okay, Caitlyn's basing as well actually. Yeah, they could look to like move through mid lane and get pressure that way. So you see what Healing is doing right now. I'm not sure if he uses tempo or not, but base after dying, right? They're just trying to force mid lane priority here and just try to get some kind of pressure and make sure that they can play the game. Because right now I think the enemy bot has perm push. They have the Herald as well, so they just want to make sure that they can secure this area. So Humanoid is... he's trying to get plating, I guess, here. Okay, it's an ultimate trade. I mean, this is really good for Sylas, so not great for Fnatic. I will say this is not the worst situation because they actually used the Herald really early on, and I don't necessarily think this was the best choice from Loud, because what they could have done, right, is just to force him here and keep playing towards the bot side and keep threatening the enemy bot side, and they could dance around. I think they get maximum 2 plates, yeah, and that's not even that great. Imagine actually just went back into bot side, they like hover a bit, right? Clear the wards, no more wards. They could easily have decided to just push this wave, not show. The Amumu Maokai just go from here, and if Sejuani is around mid lane, right? That guy can never like cross anymore here. So that means that if MF Fortune pushes the wave and the jungler plus support comes from behind, the Caitlyn without summoners is gonna die, and Sejuani can't really cross to help him, right? Which would make them get 4 platings on bot lane. And Akali doesn't have teleport either, so it will be a 4v2. Like, most people use Herald like this, right? However, it's like much better to just like look for the enemy team and then just play on the other side and just get a lot. And as well, that would allow Sylas to have perm priority and, you know. But those 2 platings are not the greatest. Okay, so they take the Drake, solve this. Okay, Sylas has, or Kyle has TP advantage. So in 3 minutes you can look for a teleport. Especially if you're behind, right? You really need to be creative and you're not gonna come back otherwise. Okay, let me see the situation. They're taking the Drake. I think they're thinking of contesting it, however they realize that I gone and... Wait, did I see Sylas base? Oh, no, they didn't. But Akali is probably screaming like, I'm much stronger. Because if you look at items, right? Akali wants to take a fight right now because he just came from base. And he knows Sylas is the base, so they're really forcing a fight. However, since it didn't work out and they blew only Braum ultimate. Okay. They got a splash though, so it's actually not too shabby. They got the Misfortune flash. So the next time that guy will be dying. And that guy has no cleanse as well, right? So... Shit. Let's probably so tilted from this one. I was wondering if they could have killed the Misfortune, but seems difficult. Nope. I mean, that's... Oh. I think if you could have maybe killed him, I've just... QR. Like a bit here. Because even the slow, honestly, would be good enough to kill him. Yeah, it was a bit unfortunate, right? But anyway, in this situation, depending on the map state, especially behind, right? So their support or their jungler AD was basing. Okay, there's support show on top lane, right? Which allows Fnatic bot lane to kind of breathe. Because imagine the Amumu was just laning on bot, and if you look at these items, I don't think Fnatic bot lane will be enjoying the game. And even if Akali gets a push here, right? Because bot lane is so strong, they can easily free up the silos. And the thing is, Loud has to play through mid and just retake bot side here. And just play towards Misfortune side. I don't think what Loud doing here is good, like looking to move into top side here. Because what they should have done, right, is to make sure that bot side is their kingdom. I mean, they have pretty good wards actually here. And the Mumu, if you can just run through mid lane, just clear some wards down, right, make sure that Sylas can just push the wave over bot. Sejuani has to sit bot lane then. However, now the Maokai is showing a ward, literally running towards top side, and he should really be playing around Misfortune. It should not be allowed that a 3-0 Misfortune against no item Caitlyn Braum can breathe. It should not be possible. And Caitlyn is getting his plates, like, it should not have been possible. Like, if Maokai is actually stabilizing, which is like playing through bot side first. But like, take Raptors, you know, see what's popping, right? And make sure that these things are cleared, even Misfortune, right? Look, Misfortune is really OP because this champion can just run through mid lane here. He's like really fast. Make sure that if there's a fight, he'll be first. If not, the team will be able to get a mid push and then instantly run towards bot side, which will allow them to take full control. The mid lane can play, and because the mid lane can play, they will allow themselves as well to just perma threaten the ball lane dive. However, if you look at the map movement, right? I mean, maybe they called Fiora's no flash, and not sure about the wave state actually. I guess wave state's okay. I mean, they just want to look to kill the enemy top lane because they're no summoners. However, like I said, if they would have went through the river here, this wave, they would go full crazy, take everything here, sweep the whole river, Maokai can farm, and the enemy can't really play anymore. And then Sejuani is legit forced to stay here. Like, even though Maokai's topside camps are upright, if they're playing like that, and if Sejuani goes topside, their bot lane is dead. So, it's just that, even though he's not farming, enemy can't really farm either, or it's just GG, you know? And since the most boring tank matchup, like losing 1 or 2 camps is not the worst, because if you play against Misfortune, they will get a lot. So by him showing topside, even this, right? Like right now, even if they're not dying, right? Fnatic is getting pressure, which they should have never been able to get. If they just take this wave and even move into mid lane, right? Because let's say Akali can't push, but I'm pretty sure he can. Even though being behind, you can actually still play the game this way because they're just giving breathing room. So right now, wait, what are they doing? They're moving the top side because you see Aatrox going for the red buff, I guess. So they want to protect that and contest, which is good because support is first and they can collapse. However, since Fiora's not on the map, they can't sandwich him, so no BNO. Okay, so right now Akali has TP advantage and the Sylas didn't have TP. Okay, Akali's basing right now, and right now if Fnatic wants to, right, they can always just move into mid lane, take full river control because they can't really hit the tower without having proper vision and no mid laner, and they can play the game that way. He put some flank wards down for in case they're gonna siege. So it's a good play from Fnatic by just TPing behind and killing him. However, the only really bad thing is that Braum took it. Because the thing is that, you know, even despite Fnatic being behind, right, if Akali took this kill, he would get his 1 item power spike and he would perma win against Sylas. Which also means that he'll always be first, and every skirmish, that guy will be so OP. And especially since he went Oblivion Orb, right, his power item spike is kind of delayed. So it would have been a great win condition if Akali would have gotten the kill, because it's like basically mid versus bot. They'll play through bot and Fnatic will play through mid. But now it's a little bit more scuffed. However, even though Braum got a kill, right, it's still like really okay, because at least this way they can actually get pressure, and from what I mentioned previously, right, now they can actually just push bot, enemy ADS to show, they can run to mid lane and free up Akali and move together as a ball. And I'll explain soon later what I mean with like moving as a ball, because it's like a concept. Okay, so here as well, they basically managed to kill the enemy AD. That guy's alone, but Sylas teleport. I mean, I think their idea of Fnatic should just be bait TP and knowing that Sylas can TP. I'm sure they're saying, hey, Sylas has TP advantage, right? And they see that Amumu plus Sylas are moving, so he can't even finish the Herald. So they'll just have to like look to bait his teleport out and not commit too hard. The moment TPs, get out. That should be their thought process. However, the moment you queue in, you're kind of killing yourself. Like right here, I'm sure, I mean, I'm not sure, right, but I think Humanoid should have called when they're fighting. Because usually it goes like this, right? Top lane saying we're fighting, the mid lane says, oh, he has CP advantage, and then they can just say, okay, bait the TP and run away. So now, the moment, run away. That should be their initial thought process. get the TP and run away. So I'm pretty sure Winner will be fine. However, Rozor queued in, so he kind of screwed himself. However, if Rozor could have just kept running and survived here, that would have been really insane. Because you have to imagine that this Misfortune died, right? They are running from bot to top to try to cancel this Herald play. However, Rozor could reset it, force the TP, and Misfortune is still dead for 12 seconds. Which means that Caitlyn can hit this tower, even take the next wave, right? And he can get insane tempo, and he can run through mid lane, which will allow them to get mid control. And when you get mid control, you dictate the game basically. And they all got a kill, right? So that was really insane for them. However, now because they just made a play and go for another play, and maybe it wasn't communicated, right? But if they actually just baited TP here and called, hey, they have TP, just bait TP and run away, it would have been really, really great. Because now, look, Misfortune is right here. Caitlyn could just play for... I mean, Fnatic would have to choose, right? If they think they can team fight around the Drake, then they should set it up. However, if they think they can't, then they should look to trade. And because Fnatic has tempo, but now not anymore because Fiora died, right? They could have played to trade, because I don't think necessarily they win skirmishes. Like, Fnatic's job is to just play through side lane pressure, which is both the solo laners. And Braum preferably just match and go 3v3, because there's no way that these two together with support even like can match like any of these laners. Like Sejuani, Akali, Braum would win against those three, I believe. And same for Fiora, Sejuani, Braum. They would win as well, because I believe that Fiora should have his one item soon. Yep. So they should be winning as well, right? So yeah. But now because they fucked up, it's a bit more difficult to apply hard pressure. However, it's still okay, right? It's not the worst, but they could have gotten like a lot there. If Fiora was alive here, they could just take over the map here basically and force Loud to run in the top side. And they will be able as well, it will take the Herald, and when they take the Herald, if they would try to trade on bot, they can just race really hard on top side. Okay, so right now they have the bot push, Loud is gonna take the Drake here. And is looking to trade side, which is really good. Like, this area is like completely their kingdom. Caitlyn can put traps, they can legit press ult and so on and just press tap and one shot that guy. I don't think the dive is possible. I mean, they can only just like threaten top, keep up the mid push and just dance around like that. Because like I said, Fnatic still has a really good win condition, which is still play through side lane. But I do think that they can't do anything here, that Caitlyn should just run mid lane earlier and be in front of the tower. Because the faster you are on mid lane wave, the faster you can take it, the more time you have to rotate or apply pressure. However, he shows position here, and if a Misfortune just sprint to mid lane, takes the wave and hooks the bot side, right? Fnatic's kind of trolling the tempo and pressure here. So they're not like really patient. So like this whole skirmish here is just really bad, because look, now Misfortune gets the push and you just lose unnecessary resources. However, imagine that they could recognize early that they can't dive him, right? And be earlier in mid lane. They could even do the next wave. They could even say, hey, next wave we can do it again. And then imagine this guy being at this HP, right? They contest mid wave, go again in top lane, and Fiora is free scaling. That guy's perma feeling threatened, and what Loud can do is just like play defensive in this area, which kind of sucks, you know? Because the left side is getting outskilled. Okay, so right now, I mean that's why that Kyle pick was good, because he wins against both their solo laners. However, it got a bit of out of control in the early game. But he can still carry the game, Akali, pretty sure, because I'm sure if they just play with Akali and play with his windows, and they move around the map properly, they can still win the game. Because Fiora is like pretty much chilling as well. Oi, oi. Okay, so I think there's a little ward here, as you can see. So that little ward there, I believe they're clearing the ward right now. And Sejuani is instantly basing, right? And the thing is that when you instantly clear a ward and you press B, people will always see you. So if anything, right, what you want to be doing is that when you clear a ward, if you want to stay and you actually want to gank, okay, you usually actually want to run away and, you know, go back. So they think you're running away. If you actually want to, like, even this, right, like, showing that you're literally based on the ward is just not the best. Unless he actually wants to stay. Sorry, like, I explained it wrong. Like, if he actually wants to stay, right, he should be doing that and then just look to go top lane. Or even mid lane, right? However, he's literally showing their basing. And they might have seen Braum as well, I'm not sure. Or this might be just a blind queue because they know that Caitlyn's not there, and if Braum is there as well, which I'm pretty sure they saw him. Actually, yeah, they literally saw Braum as well, right? So they just assumed that he might be there. Or they might have lingering vision, so... And the thing is that it was really good that they killed the Aatrox, but... Okay, I mean, the thing is they're not managing to one-shot the Braum, right? So if they don't one-shot the Braum instantly, then it might go a bit wrong for Loud. Okay, I mean, this is not too shabby for Fnatic still. And that is okay. Like right now, as long as they keep playing side lane, right? And they don't have any Drakes, but that's okay. But as long as they play side lane and play through there, they should be able to create mana funds and play the map quite easily. And I've set up on one side with Caitlyn, like, it will be quite strong. So right here, Akali is top lane, Drake is in 140. Okay, so in this situation, right? When Drake's in 140 and Akali's teleport here, right? Their job is just to play defensive. Wait till Sylas shows, and when Sylas shows, Akali can move into mid lane, he can secure this mid lane push, and if they want to play for top tower, they can. However, I believe Loud's playing for bot tower, but look at the tower HP. It's really low, the Drake's in 140. They should just keep playing towards top side and just give the tower. If they are fully committing Loud on bot side, right? I do think that if they all show on bot, they can even try to do Baron. And just force the fight. So, yeah, like winners should just look to give bot tower, they should look to hit top tower and, well, to chill basically. That should be the thought process. So even taking that trade, I mean, I guess he wasn't looking to trade, right? He was just trying to clear. Okay, so he gives the bot tower. I'm not completely understanding why they're actually going for the bot side here. Because no one's showing top. If no one's showing top, that means that usually they're for sure grouping and they should look for a fight the moment enemy silence shows and Akali is ready to teleport. Oh, I think they saw okay, they saw Maokai. They saw Maokai here, I believe. So now they're like, okay, let's retake bot side and they just want to retake this area basically and secure the next mid wave. That's what I think at least. Because I don't believe that Sylas has teleport, right? I don't think they're gonna collapse. Because Sylas is gonna teleport and there's gonna be no Biano and they have no wards. So if this is their thought process, because see Maokai, it's okay. So they can take one more mid wave. Or they could decide to walk in instantly because see Maokai, and right now because of Maokai, their comp should be, I mean, they should be aware, right? They don't even have to communicate. The moment you see anyone, just press go. Because they literally see their top laner, their jungler, so the moment they see anyone, press go. And you remember me talking about the ball? Like, as long as your ball, which is you're together, right? You can always collapse on one side, and you don't have to be worried about this guy, because you can keep running down. And Akali is teleport here as well, right? So the moment they're together and Sylas can't really cross because there's no wards here, he's afraid of getting collapsed, they can keep running towards bot side. So if Akali decides to see someone here, okay? Because like I said, the moment they see Maokai and their top laner, the moment they see anyone here, they have the engage tools, press ultimate, press TP, and they're gonna be screwed. They can keep running towards bot side because Akali will be coming here as well. So let's see how it ends up. But in general, right, if Maokai didn't show, in my opinion, I do think that they should just commit into top side and force the silos to defend on top lane, because they still have like 1 minute and 40 seconds for the Drake, and then they can decide to like retake the bot side because they have time, you know? But this is something you can do as well if you see the enemy jungler, right? But I would not do this if Sylas not showing, because they will be wasting Akali TP and the left side can just play to disengage. So right now, Akali should be instantly ready for a teleport, knowing that Maokai and Aatrox are here, and collapse on them. And both of them have no summoners. So at this point, they can decide to just keep running down, and Upside can just decide to hook topside. So if Akali TPs right now and goes to them, no summoners, is a really good play. I mean, I'm just gonna timestamp this one. Okay, so basically, as you can see, Fnatic I don't think was fully prepared. It's like an instinctual play, which is very good because it's so Maokai, right? However, they all should be on the same page, which is that the moment they show, their bot lane instant pull the trigger. If Akali TP right now, boom TP, and Sejuani just hits the Amumu, okay? Saves his ultimate for the MF if he uses ultimate, and then just kill the free target. Afterwards, just focus on that guy, because you want to make sure that Caitlyn can hit, right? However, Rosberg went a little bit too deep. I think he could have just focused on Amumu and saved his ultimate, and the thing is, well, Akali is not TPing yet. Akali could have TP'd, look, he TP's at 36. He could have TP'd at let's say realistically 30, okay? Right now he can TP, or 31. That's like the normal reaction, 30 or 31. However, he TP'd 5 seconds later. And one more thing, this TP here as well, right? Would have zoned them a little bit. They could decide to ignore the Akali here, okay? And full commit here. However, if an Akali TP's here and they, you know, completely ignore the Akali, Akali is gonna kill them as well, you know, so. Yeah, imagine actually that they just focused on Amumu here. Let's say he just stunned Amumu, they trap him, one-shot him, Sejuani saves ultimates from his fortune, Akali was here. This would have been a really, really clean fight from Fnatic. Amumu would have died. No ultimate on this guy still, actually, I believe. He would have just died. Misfortune would be useless in this fight, he would not do anything. And Sylas cannot do anything either. That guy has no mercs, he probably has in his runes, but that guy can't do anything. And winner's not even a fight, you know? So, if you go back at the previous situation, right, which is at top, I believe, after they killed the Misfortune. It's like similar, look. So basically, right here, they killed Misfortune, I believe. Wait, where was it? Yeah, they killed Misfortune, right? And the moment they killed Misfortune is really good. And this is like the same situation where it should be like Funner saying, hey, I'm fighting, then Humanoid saying, hey, here's TP. If it TPs, care, or like enemy TP advantage care, then they should be able to judge that if he has TP advantage, play for TP and run away. These are things that are really important in League to think ahead, because you should not be surprised by anything. They should not be surprised that when they're all in here that there's a TP coming in, right? At the moment they see TP, they're like, run. And really good teams will be aware that there's a TP coming and they'll just bait it and run away. And then they will get so much. They'll get bot, get the same tempo, even if you're 5k behind, you can actually play the game. But now, because they died and trolled their tempo, now Rosberg is dead, has to wait 30 seconds, and after 30 seconds, then he can take his camps, and he's just so down tempo. And if he didn't die there, he could be taking his camps already and, you know, instantly be available on mid lane with the team together here and get full control towards top side. and play really fast. However, now because of that, it really delays their pressure. So same for this situation, right? Knowing that Maoko's bot, it's kind of like an instinctual play. They know that Maoko's bot, so they can actually walk in here, which is correct. However, the moment they see anyone, they should instant commit, which was really good. I really like this. However, it wasn't a full send. It wasn't like with Akali as well. Of course, this is all the mechanical part that they could play better, but whatever, you know, that's not as important. Because the most important thing is to be aware of the concepts and thought process, and then, you know, mechanics, like every situation is so different. So they kind of lost out on this one, I believe. I mean, yeah, now it's like a 5-0, right? Or 4-0, and it could have been for Fnatic, 4-0, 100%. But it's just such a small thing, right? That 5 seconds of teleporting. 5 seconds. It's really a huge difference. And even Fiora, right? He could have as well just, imagine TP'd. Fiora could have just like been in this area, knowing he has wards and this. So they're either in the bush or they left the bush and he'll see them. It's like a lot of micro things. So yeah, now Loud gets the Baron, right? And the Drake's coming up in 20 seconds. So I mean, at this point it's going to be really difficult for Fnatic to do anything. Because in this situation, right? Usually what you have to do is either you're gonna cheese like A or B. You're gonna cheese on side lane, try to make picks and or like try to catch people here, right? If you cannot do that, usually what you can do as well is just go really hard on side lane, on both side lanes, and just give mid inhibitor. If you give mid inhibitor and you go really hard on side lane, right? What's gonna happen is that then, because you get mid inhibitor, you can just ARAM, and then you can take control over one side, and you can actually play the game from there. And it will be okay, right? However, in this situation, they're doing neither, so the only choice they have is just to concede and preferably just push out bot lane. But here, there are 3 lanes are showing, so lanes plus AD. I think if Fiora just rage splits on bot, okay, takes the wave, and takes even the next one if possible, then Akali can just push top, they can push mid, and worst case, they even lose Drake, okay? It's actually really fine. They just take 2 towers, get a kill on Fiora, but they're not using the Baron. So Fiora right now is a grouping. However, I think the moment that both the solo lane show plus AD, he should just keep pushing. However, if let's say the support here, okay, didn't show, and let's say Aatrox didn't show, right, then it's understandable that Fiora's not going for next wave. Because he will be dying, you know, because, yeah. But the moment this is the case, like, just sprint bot, take the wave, keep pushing top, and that is their best play. However, he just groups now, and they're playing kind of 4-1, but they can't really do too much here. Because now what's going to happen is that they can always now send one guy top, they can pressure mid and bot, and they're not going to get too much Fnatic. They're not even going to get tempo or anything. So now, yeah, they're just not applying or making them like run around, you know. And now as well, Loud has a bot wave to use, so Sylas can just stay mid. He has teleport, he can never die, and they can use that wave to pressure basically. And Aatrox can just cover top lane, and Fnatic's really losing out on this one. So one thing that I'm not the biggest fan of here from Loud is that I think this wave, right? Misfortune can easily slow push, and I do believe as well that they can easily. Does Akali have teleport? He does not have teleport, and Aatrox has teleport, so they can easily contest this area, Loud, which will allow Sylas to take this mid wave in the face. Misfortune can slow push here, and they can then force the enemy to show on mid lane and on bot lane, if they connect the waves. But now they are not really contesting as deep. Sylas not taking the wave, so this is the perfect time for Fnatic to just wave clear, 4-4, which is really good if you can have the same numbers when you're getting sieged at. So this is usually like pretty good for Fnatic, because like a 4-4 they defend, and unless you're super far ahead, you can't even take this tower. You literally have to dive them. So right now, as you can see, they know it's a 4-4 and they can't do anything. However, if Loud actually decided to just send Misfortune bot here, which is really good. After that, just fog a little bit, just hover mid lane, that Sylas can for sure take the wave, and the moment it takes the wave, just use the wave. And Sylas can just keep buffing mid lane and force the enemy to show. And the enemy team is never gonna walk up here to take the wave. Unless everyone's showing mid lane, right? Because this wave right here, they could easily slow push. And right now Sylas could be mid lane and he could just slow push bot lane, push the enemy out, force Caitlyn to show, and Aatrox even teleport, and they would for sure be able to secure this bot tower. But now, don't think they're getting anything. I mean, Aatrox pushing top lane, I guess. Oh, that is no BNO. I think this is a nice try from Fnatic, right? However, Amumu just CC'd the Kali and he got instantly one shot, so that was a bit unfortunate. They're quite low, they will be able to take this tower for sure. And I guess that's GG, or not yet. I guess it's gonna be one more siege. Actually, Brazilian players are really enthusiastic. It's like really nice to see. And taunting their opponents. Not sure what they say, but I really love that, you know. Okay, wait. So Loud is... So look, the way Loud's doing it right here is like correct. They should be like posturing a little bit, so Aatrox, in case it's fight, they can be there. If not, then they can just go back to top side. And now, basically what they should have done previously is what they should have done here. Look, enemy showing, now they can use the wave and it'll be free. However, imagine that they're just defending here 5v5, then, you know, it would not be the greatest. You always want to create an edge, which is mana funds, right? And this is actually what they did right this time around. So right now Baron's up in 1 minute, Drake's up in 1 minute, so right now Loud's job is just to push out mid lane, make sure that they show, play towards one side, defend the chokes here and defend the area, and don't think Fnatic should be able to do anything. Okay, but you see, for example, right here, they're not in a hurry, right, to like use the bot wave, so they could all be oinking here, and if they want to fight around mid lane wave, they could just take it. They're 8k ahead, they should really be able to clap them. So I think Sylas' position is okay, because it's TP, right? However, like Amumu, Misfortune, and Maokai should really be like around here. What they could always do, right, if Sylas pushing bot, is like to dance with them. Sylas can keep pushing bot and it's GG. Or decide to fight them, but you can always play it safe or aggressive, like as long as they're aware of multiple options. Because here, for example, imagine Mark is pressing ultimate here, Sylas keeps pushing here, and they're just teasing them, right? They're bot lane and their top side. And Sylas just keeps on going. It would really be just GG's. But since they're so far ahead, and even though they're late in rotation, I do believe they can still win because, you know, they're quite strong. But this was the best chance that Fnatic had because, look, I believe that Misfortune and Sylas and Maokai showed, so it's like the natural reaction from Fnatic to just all in. This is literally the best chance. Imagine they were close here, it would have been BG. And then I guess their Nexus explodes. Yeah, I mean, understandable. But yeah, the summary is for sure that I do think that Fnatic could actually win, even though there's some individual deaths, right? But for example, this one where if Akali managed to take the kill, if they manage to then as well recognize that okay, they have TP, the moment he TPs, run away instantly and play the game. And this was actually the most crucial part, which is this one where they failed to then fight that. They had to just instant TP and pull the trigger and go fight, because it was really good. Their bot lane has no summoners. The Sylas cannot even go on anyone here, because Fnatic is just gonna keep running down, you know? And if Sylas wants to join the fight, he'll just have to flash in, you know? So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what made Fnatic lose the game. Of course, some individual stuff, however, like, these things that they fucked up on is mostly a bit just teamwork as well. And then after that, it just becomes quite hard, right? However, yeah. I mean, that is pretty much all. And look at the Brazilian people. That's really nice to see. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Actually, I didn't check my cam. I didn't actually move my camera. I just realized it right now, but yeah. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and yeah, peace, boys.